I see a lot of opportunities in the AI agent where you can actually supercharge your operations with intelligence and also automation at the same time. So instead of doing all the manual labors, now you can have AI agent do all the work for you, and you can have multiple AI agents to double checking back and forth as well. So this is the next level of AI revolution, AI agent revolution. So that will fit in perfectly for all the manual labors or all the tedious works in the past, and then you can convert them to the new AI age. You know.
And I'm showing up as an investor for the last 30 years and consulting for as many years and coaching businesses for the last 15 plus years, mostly technology firms. And we have quite a few of those. That's why I like this session, as well as we started what we call a space, Peers on Demand, as a way to be able to connect with other leaders and be able to have a space that trusted advisors and clients can come together and get to know each other and freely connect with each other. And the big idea was this: with all the peers coming to us, what if we were able to connect some or most of them to each other and do some what we call collaborative ventures. And so we created what we call World of Co-Ventures, a space that we can have a discussion about that. And last year, cybersecurity became a big space for that. The opportunity, of course, to create a cybersecurity academy, which is a platform for doing training online, as well as focusing on some vertical markets that needed cybersecurity, like healthcare. They seem to be very vulnerable. And along the lines, other peers, like Consulting Ace, is able to provide some programs that are government grants, commercial incentives, if you qualify. And this is probably a spinoff from when we had in the pandemic. A lot of grants were given out then. And so now there's over 12 programs that you could step into. And so if you qualify, you could do that. We also have Entrepreneurs University, the opportunity to be able to do training at small, medium, and large size companies, depending on what their needs are. And also we're working with different AI peers, one of which is VenOps has created an AI tool to be able to address their healthcare market. They've got over 1,000 rural hospitals in orthopedics that they work with, as well as Echo.ai. We have Ruda here with us that could speak a little bit more about that. That focuses on assessments for individuals, business, and governments, as well as Savvy.ai that focuses on healthcare employee benefits. We're also working with Continuum Foundation from a virtual solution standpoint. Blockchain is big, and of course, that's the foundation for NFTs, cryptocurrencies. Many other tools are out there. And so there's a lot to understand from that. We're also working with government surplus equipment, Ruba.world for the Southeast Asia, and also for philanthropic and nonprofit organizations like Blackbird and Recycles World and Corcentrica. Some of these organizations that offer tools and services and support for not just communities, but also companies, but also countries. And my invitation is that you might consider joining our co-ventures world of masterminding. We do that on every Monday. An opportunity to be able to connect with some of our other leaders and be able to get to know how to actually do business together. So my invitation is join our community, peersondemand.com. Consider joining any of our free events. Today's for software technology executives, tomorrow for healthcare and dental executives. And consider joining our world of Stephen. I wonder if you could share what the big idea is for you in 2025, the opportunity perhaps that we should know and the challenge. But first, the big
Well,
idea.
the
Stephen.
big idea is cybersecurity has been a big issue, and the other thing with that is the biggest issue that a lot of organizations don't look at is what happens if they do get hit, and what type of systems do they have in place to be able to recover from a disaster. And the big thing that a lot of organizations don't do that I have found is they don't have immutable type backups where if they get hit, I've seen it where they've destroyed the entire infrastructure on premise, and absolutely no machine was actually runnable. And so what happened is we had to go to the cloud, and we, luckily, because we had immutable data up there, we were able to get all the data back. It took us about, this organization had 70 people, and it took us about 3 days to get the system back up to a runnable level. The hardest part, of course, was always getting all the data back, as there was terabytes of data. And that's what I see as the future. I also see some more with the more with AI. I'm right now going to start looking at the. I haven't done it yet, but I'm really close of downloading um, the new AI from China, as we call it, uh, to try and run it locally. So I got to do that.
How are you going to use AI to be able to mitigate or any cybersecurity threats, Stephen?
Well, one of the things that we were looking at is trying to put together some kind of database that actually incorporates. I guess we're going to try to teach it as far as giving it some learning of what equipment is available in an organization, and then kind of pump it through to see what kind of probabilities there are of attacks. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to figure out where the entry points are and how to bolster those up. And that's where I just started that. So I don't have much more information other than that. But we think that that's really crucial, because any organization, regardless of size, if they get struck today, it's devastating. It could put them out of business. Even organizations that are 200, 300, 400 people, which are small, but it can put them out of business.
I sort of had both a question and more of a thing to add here, perhaps. So, one of the things that Steven, we are more so looking at is the voice security side of things, right? We have had remarkable success recently with detecting AI-based fraud, right? So basically, the thing is like you get either scam calls or you have people showing up in interviews, but not people, obviously. And they fake through the whole process. And then you find out like you don't have the person that actually was supposed to have interviewed for your company. So, question being, do you guys look into any sort of like voice security when it comes to that, or any authentication system that tries to verify AI-based actors versus actual human actors? Because that's also becoming really big as we speak right now. Deepfake, I'm pretty sure all of you have heard of, right? And yeah.
Mark, so Matt, I wonder if you could share more about Easy Expo and also the direction you're taking with this and the
Yeah,
value that it offers and maybe the challenge that you're
sure,
facing. But first, the big
sure.
idea.
Yeah, thanks for having me here again. We have a multiple AI apps, and we've really focused on building out a smart community. And one of the big ideas is that we call this AIX network, is basically turn all your customer and partners to a referral engine, because when you promote them, you bring them all together. We all promote each other, and then we have AI superpower application like SEO, social media, and many others, and to use to actually promote everyone business through the platform. And we actually share all these posts across social media channels like LinkedIn and so forth. So that way we can help save 80% of the digital marketing costs, and then also build trust. Imagine you have a virtual CES sort of a way every single day. If you are in startup tech, you can have a virtual Shark Tank every day. And you mentioned about digital health. We actually have a digital health network. This is really going to be a cool thing that we want to bring all the digital health startups to bring together and showcase all the product and services. We actually are onboarding at one of the largest neurology medical center with onboarding 100 doctors. So the whole idea is to connect all the dots across multiple hubs and so forth. Let me share the news article. Please connect with me and see how we can potentially collaborate. Thank you. People are just confused and with AI, right? There's so many AI apps thrown at you. People are just confused. But we go beyond just AI. We really focus on leveraging AI and give away all the AI apps so that you can actually have a community that you can trust. That's really the thing that most people are missing out, because having a community like what you're doing right now, Rocky, is amazing. Is so critical. Now anybody can throw stuff at the internet, social media, and claim whatever, right? That's the flip side of AI. But bottom line is having a trustworthy community is so critical that you cannot just use AI to throw stuff at any time. So you can have a meeting like this. So I think people are just really trying to understand what AI can do, but we go beyond that. We actually provide you all the AI tools so that you can focus on building a community that you can help promote everyone's business.
I like
That's a
that.
new
That sounds
concept.
really good.
Right. We have AI SEO, AI social media. Every post, all the posts you see on my LinkedIn is all driven by our AI agent, AI social. I don't have time to post 4 times a day. And this is the amazing part. Before, I did not even bother to post on LinkedIn. Now I see the benefits. My impression shot up 3,000%. This is the amazing part because you gotta rely on the AI agent to do all the heavy lifting. We don't have time. See, this is the power of AI. It's not you do all the work. You have to do something. Obviously, you have to make sure the posting, all this thing is right. But once you trigger, set it up, it will automatically go out across 24 by 7. That's the amazing part. Um, we have AI SEO, that's a search engine optimization, AI social media for LinkedIn and all across social media channel. We have AI email marketing at built in, AI CRM, AI chatbot, and we're rolling our AI agent platform. So everything that you can think of, it's going to be built inside the platform. It's all seamless integration because the biggest challenges is not even technology. Yeah, I've been in the enterprise software for over 20 years. I built the CRM at Oracle. The biggest challenge is not the software, is the integration of all the disconnected silos of applications, silos of organization. Nobody has a clue how to fix it. Nobody. Because when you deal with legacy system, you 90% you don't fix it. You just add on stuff. Well, add on stuff, make it more harder to integrate. So I think now we're the AI agent revolution. That totally reset the button. Enterprise software is up in the air. So what we need to focus on organization, focus on your customer and partners. Who are the ones that you really want to do business with? Who are the ones that you want to promote them on a daily basis? Who can give you the synergy, right? The end of the day is about synergy, right? How you can differentiate your service from everyone else, right? I mean, no, you cannot sell point solution anymore. It's about synergy. That's how we can. I mean, taking the same playbook from OpenAI and Microsoft 365. Why is so they're so successful? OpenAI save time and money. That's it. Microsoft 365, one flat fee, you got all the app. Simple, right? Simple as and that is easy. We say you're taking the same playbook, one flat fee, you got all the AI apps, and you might get a referral bonus.
That
That's
is
it.
that is worthwhile, Matt. I appreciate it. I noticed that you put your profile on the chat for people
Yeah,
to
let
connect
me
with
put
you.
we have lots of newsletter articles. What I'm trying to do is to really give a bite-sized content because this stuff is so much. You cannot tell I mean, too much stuff. We'll have to give a bite-sized content. One more thing that we just launched an AI podcast. That's the amazing part. We can turn every PDF into a podcast, and
You just
then
did that.
you can share that across all social media channels. And then we have AI crowdfunding. That's another thing for anyone are in the nonprofit, we can help. We actually give away AI applications so that you can supercharge your fundraising every single day. That's the amazing part.
Well, Michael was asking about marketing, and I think this fits into the marketing area. So, but let's hear from Rudra with Echo.ai. Rudra, I wonder if you could share a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
about your Echo.ai, the development. You mentioned a little bit that you were getting into some other areas. Rudra, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if you could share what is the big idea going on for this year, 2025, the opportunity and the challenge. But first, the big idea. Rudra?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So Rocky, again, you are more familiar than some of the people here with what we have been doing. But just to give you guys the core idea of what we were doing before is that we were giving you guys a full psychometric report just based on your voice. But over the last couple of months, talking to a lot of people, what we realized is that we essentially needed a better product market fit. So the big idea for 2025 is effectively making this or turning what we had into a proper conversational agent driven AI recruiting platform. So long story short, it does the entire recruitment process for you. And a couple of the other developments as I spoke of that we are adding into it, for example, is a much more enhanced version of AI fraud check. We are working with a couple of clients. It's not finalized here, but especially in developing countries where the IT markets are, there is an insane amount of AI based cheating effectively. So again, as I mentioned, sort of in interviews, I'll like move my mouth, but someone else will be speaking into the microphone for me. And after like 7 rounds of interviews and like wasting thousands of dollars in the whatever, you find out that I wasn't the real person that took the interview and I don't know anything. So that's one of the key problems that we found out. The other thing is everyone is scaling up to hire way more people, right? And the possibility of getting a bad hire is increasing day by day. The recent numbers were like 33%, so every one in three hire effectively is a bad hire. Again, so targeting it from that angle, and really what happens is that again, it's not just about the hard skills. It's not about how good you code, how good you are at financial analysis, this or that. It really is about your personality fitness, how you actually fit into the whole company as a whole, which really determines your success. And again, this is supported by most of the literature out there. So that really is, in a nutshell, the big idea going ahead. Providing a better product market fit for what really is needed right now, which is through Echo Recruiter.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
that you're targeting a vertical market like recruitment because they certainly like to provide the best candidates that they can for their employees. So, how far along are you in terms of implementation? Is this ready for production?
Absolutely. And again, I put the link down below. I encourage all of you to try it out. We are again in talks to get some clients, hopefully in the upcoming weeks, months. It's fully out. It's fully testable and like out in production. The demo lets you kind of give a pretend interview. So you can click one of the buttons, select a role that you'll be interviewing for. You answer 2 or 3 questions and you can sort of see at a glance what it does. And then it will take you to the dashboard, a preset dashboard, which lets you explore a bit more. But what the full product really does, it lets you access an infinite amount of customization, right? Everything from creating your job description to looking at soft skills, hard skills. How do you want the AI interviewer to gauge the candidate? So let me just give you an example. Let's say you have two job roles. Let's say one's a software developer, two with 5 years of experience. That's your ask. Now, for one particular role, you're probably going to put him into a team which requires more leadership skills. You can ask the AI to just focus on that as an example. You can tell it to look at emotions this way, ask questions that way, and so on and so forth. And it can be all automated. The other thing, let's say the other guy that you want to hire might need to have better soft skills. You can have that. And you can literally have the AI do the whole process for you. And what you get is a like comprehensive dashboard that just lists the candidates by the best fit. So we call it job compatibility dimensions. We have 6 dimensions, and we combine that into a job match percentage. That's it. And we just rank order them. As simple as that.
Christopher Skinner, who also has a psychometrics tool. Christopher, I wonder if you might share a little bit more about your big idea that coming up for this year, the opportunity, maybe the challenge, but what is your big ideas? Christopher Skinner.
That product. So you see about 90% of products never reach product market fit. And one of the core reasons why is that we don't truly reach out to our A+ customers in any we don't really understand who they are psychologically. But typically the story of a founder or small startup is you reach out, you get a bunch of customers in. There's a certain percentage that are what you would call A plus. And instead of concentrating on the B's, the C's, and the D's, and the F's, which are going to come because it's natural at random selection, if you could take the few A pluses and then create a lookalike list of A pluses, you would focus on there. It's pretty much similar to what Ruda is saying about employees. You do A plus employees. You just model after the same people that get along, culturally fit. Well, it's the same thing on the sales side, is that if you concentrate on this, the irony is if you focus on A plus, we're capable of making a lookalike list of A plus. So you then have your total addressable market by name. And what you discover is almost everybody never truly reaches out to their A plus potential customers. So we think we have to cross the chasm, which is actually a dreadful mistake, because then we have psychologically very different kinds of customers. And then we get into this product scope creep and confusion about what we should build. When in reality, the A plus are pretty well, they'll take your crummy software today and they'll put it to work and they'll make it useful. The last thing you really should worry about is trying to satisfy those C customers and certainly those Ds. So that's it. Just make a list of your A plus lookalikes and go sell them. And guess what? Never cross the chasm.
I do like your idea of A plus customers. As you were saying that, I thought what you're really talking about is a niche area. Is that the same thing? Are we talking, is it semantics? Are we talking about specific niche and focus on your A plus or your niche so that they're the ones that you work with? Would that be a different way of saying it, Christopher?
I think so. I think that's sufficient. Your niche customers are the ones that what I discover is that when you look at these niche customers, they give you money, they put up with you, they get along, and it turns out there's functional characteristics of them, but it turns out psychologically, I have one customer right now, they're not at product market fit. They're terrible. They've incurred a lot of cost in acquiring too many customers. But then the ones that stick it out and actually use the software psychologically are results driven, and they're also systems thinkers. And they're in a certain volume of results and systems thinking. The people that abandon the software really quick are disciplined thinkers, which is fascinating. So the people that are looking for lots of rules and buttoned up and process pretty much reject the software right away. And just a little asterisk, I use the word crummy because of my mentor, Clayton Christensen, who used to say you're crummy. He used to always refer to things as crummy products. And, the crummy hearing aids that Sony used to put out and his crummy theories, So I use that word as a little nod to my mentor.
Well, in that case, then it's a positive word. Here's the thing is, and I'll open up for people to ask you questions, but Christopher, I think you have a great approach. We all know that a niche area, the A clients are the ones we want to go after, but we have no way or process or system that would allow us to do that and think about that. So I'm thinking that if we knew a little bit more about your software, how we could use that, then it would make a lot more sense.
It's very affordable because I'm just like Clayton would say, anybody that does disruptive innovation you should always appeal to a non-consumer base, right? and you should be affordable and accessible, but you're fighting against non-consumption. And that's the big thing, is that startups, I remember everybody here seems to have a bit of gray hair, so some of us. And I remember in the old days, you could go into Google and buy search terms for a penny a click. You could send out as many emails as you wanted. You can't do that anymore. What happened?
But thanks for that, Christopher. Let's hear from Michael with Doc's office. He's got multiple office solutions, business areas. You also asked about marketing too, Michael. I wonder if you could share. You've got two businesses. Maybe you could share what is the big idea in either one of the businesses going forward, the opportunity and the challenge. First, the big idea, Michael.
All right, so I come out of the copy and printer arena. I was with Konica Minolta for 19 years, so I know all about copying machines and printing, and when digital equipment became the standard versus analog equipment. The entire copier world has been on decline, both with print output and AI technology. So a friend of mine who went back to Ireland years ago, we formed a document management solution for scanning and virtual printing. So, I hate to use the Trade Center as a good example. I worked there at the time the building collapsed, but what people don't know is paper actually brought down the Trade Center from the heat because all the paper burned, right? And going back to what Steve was talking about a little while ago about backing up your data, so many businesses don't actually think about it, but how much data they have in the paper. So whether they're using filing cabinets or offsite storage or just storage in general, but still paper-based, if they had a fire or a flood, recreating all that documentation would put them out of business. There's just no recovering from it. So our system virtually prints. So we print to what we call a hot folder, an inbox, and then that data is classified with drop-down lists or barcodes. And now our latest thing is that we're using AI, whether it's Copilot or Google Gemini. Going back to what Mal was saying earlier, I had created a PowerPoint presentation. I thought this was unbelievable, actually. We created a 28-minute PowerPoint of how it actually works, the software, and using AI to use Copilot to search document information. But then we used AI to convert that entire PowerPoint into a 2-person podcast, which is up on our website right now. And it blew us away that there was a male and a female voice that took all the data from the PowerPoint and converted a podcast out of it. And it came out wonderful. No intervention, it just let it rip. So our challenge that I'm finding is that we know everybody can benefit from what we're trying to do. I just created a letter mirroring what happened with Doge with the federal employment workers documents that it takes them weeks to get the paper back, which is an exact example. Like I can search even using my smartphone, using OneDrive or SharePoint or Google Drive. I can find any document in a couple of seconds right from my smartphone. And we want to get that message out there, how much money people can be saving by going from a paper-based system to having it all digital. So instead of printing to your laser printer, well, you print to your hot folder and classify it and you're done. And then when you need to find it, you just type in what I'm looking for, an invoice number, a contract number, person's name, a date, and it pops it right up. And Google Gemini or Google itself, Google and SharePoint both do OCR inherently. So even if you move it from your keywords that you've applied the metadata to Once it ends up Google Drive or SharePoint, they OCR the entire document. So you can search within the document, key phrases, names, product. I have on my PowerPoint, I use the word transfer roller to find it, searching all of Google in our drive just on 2 words. And it found the document like that. It took about 3 seconds, I think. But so that's our challenge, is that we're just trying to, bring it out to the masses. I like what Chris was saying about that AI list, because what we're trying to do is bring on some copier dealers that actually are selling still machines and some document management solutions. And one advantage that we bring is we're agnostic to storage, where so many of our competitors have proprietary storage, where you get X amount of gigabytes, and then if you want more, you got to pay for more. And we don't care where you store it. You want to store it in Google Drive or Dropbox or OneDrive or SharePoint. It's your data, you store it where you want. And going back to what Matt was saying, leveraging Office 365 is really what I like, is because it is all one platform. Whether it goes out to OneDrive or SharePoint, you can share out whatever you want with end users, clients. We also have one version of it where it does automatic subfolder creation, where if you wanted to create subfolders, it could be clients, and then share those subfolders with your client. So if they upload a document to OneDrive, it shows right back up in our system, or vice versa.
A couple ideas. I think that you should consider selecting a couple major 3 vertical channels and start bringing all the partners and distributors together and promote them. That's where the ecosystem that you need to have, instead of you having a silo marketing, try to do all the heavy lifting on your own, which is not extremely challenging. And you'll be a lot better off to bring in all the strategic partners, your A-list of whatever, whether it's content, whether it's channels, and bringing some valuable content together, not on your own, but bring everyone and promote them. That's where we come in to make that happen.
Okay, Mark, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I work a lot with law firms, and we've been going through that. I would call that process, and so now we pretty much have them pretty much paperless for most instances. It does use SharePoint, just like he was talking about. The big thing that we ran into, though, was we have to now make a determination of documentation. It has to have all these attributes or tags or flags or whatever you want to call it, because what happened is some of these court cases were open for a long time, and then they wanted to reference them. And so I would say about every 2 years, we basically are doubling the amount of storage we're using at these law firms to keep these documents. And so the cost is starting, you have to stagger it. How do you do the costing, and how's the costing tier done? So if you want it readily online, available instantly, as he said, in 3 seconds, it costs a lot more than if you put it on what we call off near storage. And so that's been a big issue as far as the cost goes. And the implementation isn't that difficult. Existing documents, if you really need to do those, a lot of services will scan those for you. But the problem is putting the meta tags on them.
Well, that's you just hit the nail on the scanning. Is the easy part. We have people say, "Oh, I save them as PDFs." I go, "Okay, when you have thousands of PDFs, how do you find it? You have to know what folder you put them in. You'd have to know what you named it. If you spelled it wrong, that's an issue." Going back to the law firms with the tagging. So what we've been doing using Microsoft Syntex or Azure Document Intelligence, which is a paid program. Microsoft now has a pay-as-you-go billing program. where you can actually pull that data off those documents. So let's say it was for a Bates number or a tagging number or whatever the data is that you want to pull off the paper.
Yep.
And you can pull it out, export it into an Excel spreadsheet, and provide a list. Now, I've used in my PowerPoint, which is up on our website, just for the fun of it, I said, can you make a list for me using Copilot of every vendor that spent more than $100 in the last 3 months? And it pulled it right out of the spreadsheet, gave me a list. It actually created the marketing letter right out of it. So, you're right, Rocky, about, paper's been around for years, and I sold hundreds and hundreds of copiers over the years, including me. I still use paper. I'm not saying I don't, but I can tell you this: when I need to find something, like right now, I will go right back to searching through our document management system because I can find it instantly. And the speed it can do it. So I think people are so used to, walking to the filing cabinet or printing to the laser printer. But from, the biggest thing that I don't think, maybe my messaging needs to be better, is it's the labor cost. That's the most expensive thing that everybody pays for, is labor. And a lot of companies don't realize, maybe you guys will know, but they say the average cost of processing a single invoice is $35 across the country. And if someone's doing, I don't know, 100 invoices a month, that's $3,500 a month, just by, between getting it approved, putting it into QuickBooks.
Let's hear from Jeff Levine. Jeff Levine, I wonder if you could introduce yourself and maybe share your business idea in 2025, the opportunity, maybe the challenge. Jeff Levine?
Quite honestly, I think I'm in a little over my head here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is. I'm not sure how much I can contribute to this group. You guys all seem to be much.
We'll be the judge of that, Jeff.
I'm a solopreneur. I've been in business for going on 40 years. I specialize in time billing and practice management systems for small and medium law firms. I work with about a dozen different packages that are targeted at the lower end of the market. My ideal client is 5 to 25 attorneys, and I like to say I help lawyers choose and use software to make staff more efficient, lawyers more productive, and firms more profitable. So I don't really produce anything. I don't have a product. I'm not developing anything. I'm just out
Well,
there
what's your
looking.
big idea for 2025, Jeff? More
My big
clients?
idea for
What is it?
2025. My big idea for 2025 is revamping my business. The model on which I built my business does not exist anymore. It's just it just isn't there. When I started, the software for law firms was all premise based. It was all, you had a server, and law firms would call a software company and say, I'm interested in your stuff, and they'd say, you're in New York, call Jeff Levine. I go in, I do a demo, I get the job or I don't. I sell the software, I make a commission, or I'm an actual reseller. I do the aftermarket support, and then I wait for their IT people to make a mistake, and then I take over their IT work. And that's how I built my business.
Well, that was 40 years, and in 40
That was
years,
40
things have
years
changed
ago.
quite a bit. I think you need to embrace AI or something that's contemporary. Let me open it up because we've got some people, thought leaders here that could probably give you some thoughts or ideas. Anybody have a comment, thought, or idea for Jeff? Anybody?
Well, I would say one thing is the big thing we see at law firms is processing, and you've seen a lot of applications that automatically can recognize documents, so it knows how to catalog them in the accounting side. That's really big in a law firm because there's a lot of expenses that actually are billed back to the client, and those really need to be taken care of. I can tell you that process is not simple, and even billing back copies stuff. The integration involved in the computer system is overwhelming, believe it or not, and especially with the integration with the accounting programs. So
Well, that's one of the things that I am working on. I have a couple of products that help a law firm deal with that issue, um, and I'm deepening my involvement with document management systems that focus specifically on law firms. Net Documents is one of the major players in that field, um, and I'm working on strengthening my relationship with Net Documents.
Yeah, I see a lot of opportunities in the AI agent where you can actually supercharge your operations with intelligence and also automation at the same time. So instead of doing all the manual labors, now you can have AI agent do all the work for you, and you can have multiple AI agents to double checking back and forth as well. So this is the next level of AI revolution, AI agent revolution. So that will fit in perfectly for all the manual labors or all the tedious works in the past, and then you can convert them to the new AI age. You know,
Tula, Satya, if you could say hello and maybe share a big idea, opportunity, introduce yourself first. Satya?
Uh, Hi, Rocky. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, One of the big news for me is you know I I texted in the text message, and the Forbes, Sequoia, and Merich Meritech Capital have identified my company as a strong candidate for the AI 50 list of 2025 from the Forbes. Um, from the Forbes. So they sent an email. I applied for them. So they are recognizing one of the top AI company in the world. That is the biggest news. So my software, not like a chat GPT, it using that my tool. We can build a web application or a mobile application from end to end. You don't need a front end developer, back end developer, or a database developer. So, chat GPT or Copilot, it only gives you a code, modify the things. Here it is not like that. So you can just, using my tool, the front end, if you build, for example, document management system, and the front end, how it should look like. And so, when the scan comes, how the user interface has to be, all that, you don't need a developer to develop for your user interface or backend, to integrate with your scanner or whatever. And so with this tool, you can build any small to any enterprise applications with my D3. So the Forbes and these people are recognizing that is the good thing for me. Yeah.